Hi there, this is Matt with State of Flux here with a review for John Wick Chapter 4. And I have to say right up front, this is easily the best of the John Wick franchise. But more than that, this is the best movie so far of 2023. It continues the tradition of previous John Wick films of having extraordinary use of lighting. The lighting is so fantastic. It sets a mood, it visually dazzles. And with the previous films, you got a lot of that in gorgeous night photography, and that tradition is kept in this. However, this one uses a lot of natural daytime lighting, and the use of light in daytime is what really wowed me this time around. That's something unique to this film in the John Wick franchise. But enough about lighting. This is the first film of the bunch that feels like a true, genuine movie. The other films, while they were visually dazzling and had awesome action, they were pretty slight on story. This one has a weight and a gravitas to it. And that's probably because this is a sort of a designed finale to the John Wick franchise. Now, that's sort of up for debate whether or not there will be a continuation in some form. I know that there's a spin-off movie coming out next year called The Ballerina. But this is designed to be a finale and is rousing and epic in its scope. The film uses the good, the bad, and the ugly as its framework, right down to the final scene being pretty reminiscent of the final shootout in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The score is even pretty strikingly similar to Good, Bad, and the Ugly. But the characters in this are fantastic. We have John Wick, and we're continuing his story, and trajectory is pretty... we're invested by this point. But it's the other characters, the side characters, that I found myself equally invested in. Donnie Yen plays Kane, a blind swordsman. Not too dissimilar from, like, Zatoichi, mixed a little bit with his character from Rogue One. But he has this good guy quality. You're rooting for him, even though in all intents and purposes he is the bad guy of the film. But he plays it so spectacularly that you can't help but kind of root for him. And he has his own plot that is that he's fighting for. Then you have another character who's kind of gunning to try and take down John Wick, but only at the right moment. And this is a character that literally is not given a name. He is, whenever he's asked, he always just dismisses it, saying he's nobody. And the similarity there to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the man with no name, is ever present. The true big bad of this film is Skarsgård. I can't remember his first name. Pennywise Skarsgård is the villain of this film. And boy, does that man look good in a suit. The suits that that dude is wearing throughout the entire picture are just beautiful. Again, the aesthetics, the design, it's all great. But it's the story here that matters. This is the first movie with real, genuine, weighty scenes. Scenes that play out, where people just talk. There's a beautiful one in a church between John Wick and Donnie Yen, who just converse and share a moment, even though they know that their futures lie entwined with each other, and a bullet is going to pierce one or the other of them to death. And that doesn't matter, because in that moment, what matters is them talking, discussing, reminiscing, and trying to advance forward with their separate lives. And it's great, it's beautiful. This is easily, without question, my favorite film of 2023. This is an easy 4-star movie, and easily the best of the John Wick franchise. I will give it to John Wick Chapter 2 for having the best kind of climactic final battle. I think is great in that Hall of Mirrors. That the franchise never was quite able to top itself visually from that standpoint. But this film tops it in every other way. And prior to that, John Wick Chapter 2 was my favorite of the bunch. This blows everything out of the water. Storytelling, use of character and flourish. There's an extended period it's set in Japan that is fantastic. You get some nice swordplay that's really, really cool. You have some really dynamite side characters that you're truly invested in, even though you're not given much time spent with them. You care. This film gets you to care about the little people. And then there's a really unusual prolonged period in the middle. That's probably the part you could lift out easiest, because this movie is 3 hours long. I didn't really necessarily feel like it felt its length. I've talked to other people who disagree with me. I feel like that's the scene you could easily lift out of the picture. However, I think it is some of the strongest stuff. Certainly the lighting in that scene is fantastic. It's essentially a scene where the three characters, adversaries, are playing poker with the Kingpin, if Kingpin had gold teeth and a bad crew cut, and then it results in John Wick having a fist fight with the Kingpin in the rave scene from The Matrix. It's a very unusual scene, but I promise it works dynamite in the movie. That said, this movie is kind of weird at times, and there's an awful lot of dramatic flourishes that are reminiscent of some of those Matrix sequels put to good use and thoughtful use in this film, whereas I think criticisms could easily be levied at the Matrix sequels for not doing justice to the framework of the story that they were originally telling. This uses some of those same visual motifs and put to much grander use in this film. I keep talking about it. It's easy 4-star movie. My favorite of the John Wick franchise, my favorite movie of 2023 thus far, and honestly it's going to be a tough one to beat. We'll see who is able to take it down, if anybody. But let me know what you thought of John Wick Chapter 4 in the comments down below. Do not leave spoilers, because I actually made it this far without any spoilers. I didn't even know who was in this movie. The fact that Donnie Yen was in this shocked the hell out of me. And for him to be such a primary character was pretty cool. But yeah, so no spoilies in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Peace.